exclusive insight into the world of Badger athletics, this is Wisconsin Huddle. Here's Andrew Bandstra.
Welcome into Cousin Subs here in Madison on the corner of Park and Regent. We are thrilled to be joined by Wisconsin women's basketball's Nikki Kerstein, a freshman on the team and a team that has had a whole lot of success in this young season. Thanks so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we'll get to the basketball court, but as you know at home, our goal on this show is to get to know who Nikki is as a person. We know her as the hooper, as the member of the Wisconsin women's basketball team that's been making strides, and the only way we know how to really get to know you is by playing a game that we like to call two swishes and an air ball. So the catch here is that I'm going to say three things about Nikki. She's going to pretend like all three are true, but one is going to be a lie. The test for you at home and you and our live audience is to see if you can see which one is the lie. So we're going to start here with the fact that you're a perfect candidate to have on this show, not just for your athleticism, but also what you're interested in terms of studies. You're a broadcast journalism major, right?
Yes, that's true.
That is amazing. And of course, I love that. That's what I think everybody should get into, especially if you're interested in it. I don't know that I'd be as interested in this. I hear that you prefer to do your conditioning or your running training outside during the winter as opposed to outside during the summer, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's just like being from the Midwest. I love the cold, and I'd rather do it outside during the winter.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I don't know if I can get behind. The third would be that you are a dual citizen with Greece, which has provided you some really, really unique basketball opportunities. Is that one true?
Yeah, that one's true.
So it sounds like all three might be true, and hopefully all three were very believable. So the test here, you at home and you and our live audience, which of those do you think was the lie? Number three, okay. Number one, okay, they don't believe in the broadcast journalism. Number two back there, so that I was just about to say, okay, we got another two. Here I was thinking I was fantastic with the lie, but it was that one about conditioning, right?
Yeah, definitely would not want to be conditioning out when it's cold and snowy and icy. Yeah, that would be too difficult.
Two of those were true, so let's dive into those, starting with the broadcast journalism. What interested you in broadcast journalism?
I think I just found myself always watching games on the TV and live, and I always sat around to see the interviews at the end or during half times, and I thought it was so cool how athletes were able to share their stories, and they were getting asked not just about like their stats and this and that, but they were asked more personalized questions, and I think I want to be like that person who helps share their perspectives and their stories. And being an athlete, I know how that feels, so I think being on the flip side of it would be a really cool opportunity.
The other truth was the fact that you're a dual citizen with Greece. You were on the Greece national team when you were 16 and when you were 18, or on the U16 and 18 teams. What was that like, and how cool of an experience was that?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I was in Greece about 2 summers ago, and I was out there. I got to train with the national team, which was an amazing experience. It has its challenges with like the language barrier a little bit, so that was a challenge, but it was amazing getting that opportunity. And then they invited me to play in their FIBA tournaments. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play in them just due to there's travel basketball, there's high school basketball, so in America that's a year-round type of sport, and that was really hard. But I'm hoping that next summer I'll be able to get away maybe for the summer and be able to participate in that, which would be an awesome experience.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. And you know, you're from Illinois, which I don't think we've mentioned, but here in Wisconsin especially, a lot of people know about Greece and basketball because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Are you a Giannis fan, even though I would assume maybe you're a Bulls fan when it comes to the NBA and a Sky fan in the WNBA?
Yeah, I'm definitely a Giannis fan. I mean, I'm always rooting for my Bulls no matter what, but I think he has done a great thing for this league, and he's become an inspiration to so many people, and obviously those Greek roots I'm always rooting for, but yeah, I would definitely say I root for him.
We certainly hope that Giannis isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We've all heard the rumors, but what I can guarantee you is that we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll be right back on the Wisconsin Huddle. Welcome back inside Cousin Subs right here in Madison. In fact, right next to UW-Madison's campus. We are thrilled to be joined by Nikki Kerstein, a freshman on the Wisconsin women's basketball team. And you know what time it is? It is the Student Athlete Story segment presented by Gruber Law Offices. And we're going to just get to know who you are as not just a person, but as an athlete, starting with the athletic side of things. You were a top 100 player in the country coming out of high school. You're from the Chicago area, and you had quite the high school career. 4 times you were named to the All-State team. You were the State Player of the Year, a state champion. What was that high school experience like for you?
I think for me, it was all about building like steps up each and every year. I mean, freshman year, didn't make it down state. Sophomore year, got 4th in state. Junior year, 3rd, and then finished my senior year and capped it off with a state championship. So I think it was amazing. I couldn't do it without my coaches and my teammates and everybody that supported me, my whole family, everybody like that.
Coach Robin Pinchton, who at the time was the head coach at Missouri, had a commitment from you, and when she came to Wisconsin, you did too. So let's start there. Coach P, as she's called, which I said I wouldn't say. I think is that kind of what the players call her, right?
I think it's an all-around thing.
Okay.
Everybody kind of gives it to her.
All right, I could go with Coach P then. We'll go with the Coach P. She's having incredible success so far this season. You guys are having incredible success. What is it about her that made you be like, you know what, I'm hitching my wagon to her. I want to be with Coach P?
I always knew that it was so important that you liked your coach and had a great relationship with your coach, because obviously if you don't, it's going to be a long 4 years, that's for sure. And she just made me feel really seen as a person outside of basketball. It's not always like the phone calls weren't just like, hey, how's basketball, training, this and that. It was like, how are you? Like, what have you been up to? How's your family? And I think that makes such a difference in even our team and our connectivity, is that like we feel seen outside of just being an athlete.
Why was Wisconsin a good fit for you?
First of all, it's close to home, so that means my family, my friends can come to a lot of home games, but also away games. And being in the Big Ten, it's in the Midwest, so there's a lot of room to like get to games. And I'm at one of the best academic schools in the country, and obviously the ball is going to stop bouncing eventually, and I want to be prepared in whatever career field that I wanted to go into, which is sports journalism and broadcasting. And again, you're in the Big Ten. You're competing with the best of the best. You're going to get it every single night, no matter who you're playing.
You're a true freshman, and you've played in all 11 games this season. What's the transition been like on the court? Obviously, you were playing at a very high level. Is there a big jump that you feel, and are there any things that you feel like you've had to do differently now that you've made this jump?
My biggest challenge was just realizing that there's a different intensity level to playing. Like, you're playing in high school and everything kind of comes to you easily, and then you're playing against girls who are also the best players in the country, let alone. So I think just kind of making my transition into that and figuring out that intensity throughout the summer really helped me be able to fit into where now I can get minutes in the game and not feel super uncomfortable, and I was like, I can flow out there.
You guys have been so good this season, and we're going to dive into exactly that when we come back. This has been the Student Athletes Stories segment, proudly presented by Gruber Law Offices, and as we all know, one call, that's all.
You're watching Wisconsin Huddle.
Welcome back into Cousin Subs right here in Madison on the corner of Park and Regent. I'm Andrew Manster with WISC TV, and this is the Wisconsin Huddle. Thrilled to be joined by Wisconsin women's basketball freshman Nikki Kerstein, and we've teased it. Let's talk about it. This team has been fantastic this year. It goes without saying that the Wisconsin women's basketball program has struggled a little bit in the past, but you haven't seen that this year. There just feels like there's a different energy around this program. Does it feel the same way inside the locker room?
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, like, what you see is what you get from us. We're not different people behind, like, in the locker room. We are who we are when we're out there. And I think just like us being very community-based has helped us. I think we're getting a ton of people out to the games, and we show that that means a lot to us, and it definitely drives us and helps us play.
Wisconsin is 8-3 to start the season. That is their best start to a season that includes a ranked win since 2008. Just to give you some context as to how good of a start this Wisconsin women's basketball team is off to. And that kind of felt like, from the outside at least, beating a ranked team in Michigan State and doing it by a pretty good margin. At least from the outside, felt like, okay, this team is for real. Did it feel like that on the inside, or did you guys just know that?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it from even the summer. Like, we were going to put people on the map. And if they didn't know what they were going to get from us, they were going to find out real soon. And there was never a doubt going into that game. Obviously, we're not a ranked team. But going into that game, we were like, we know what we're capable of. We know we can hang with everybody. We already played Ole Miss, and that was a very close game for us as well. We could have come out on top in that also. And I think our team just has a very good, like, instilled confidence in ourselves to where we can compete with anybody, and we're not afraid to have anybody either.
What is the ceiling for this team? How good do you think this group can be?
If we play every game with those standards and every practice, and we approach every day the same way and attack it, again, there's no ceiling for us. Like, we are capable of so much. We just have to, it all relies on us. We're going to be our biggest enemy, and the only thing that can stop us is us. So we just have to make sure that we are giving it our all, and we are meeting our standards and expectations, and we're going to have a lot of success.
You know, you and your teammates have been so fun to watch this season, and I believe the ceiling is that high or does not exist. But with this next group, I don't know that we can say the same thing. In a game we're going to call North Pole Pickup. So you and 4 of your new teammates are going to try to compete in a game, and the catch here is that you got to decide where these 4 teammates are going to play on the court. So we'll save what position you play at. I'd imagine it would have to still be point guard, but you never know with this group of teammates, the first of which being Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. I'll tell you a couple things about him. He has elite speed, but he's not a good jumper. I think we all know that about Rudolph. Where would you put him 1 through 5?
Speed? I feel like I can still put him at the 2.
Okay.
He doesn't need to be able to shoot it that much, but I think he'll definitely be a good 2.
You know, obviously I would presume you'd be the 1, but this seems like a good candidate for a point guard. An elf with unlimited energy that also has the worst trash talk in history.
I feel like he'd be a good 3.
Okay.
I mean, an elf with he can kind of play both, and I feel like size doesn't matter. He can get after it still.
How about Frosty the Snowman? The only hit against Frosty that I would say is the guy melts under pressure. But outside of that, where would you put him 1 through 5?
I would probably put him at a 5. I mean, depends how big we make Frosty, I guess, but I think he'd be a good 5. Definitely take up some space in the paint for us.
1 and the 4 left. So you and Santa. Santa's got to go somewhere. He's got slow feet, but he's got elite post presence, is how I would describe him. Where would you put him at?
Yeah, I'd probably put him at the 4. I think he might be a little bit slower.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think he'd be a good 4. I think he'd be solid for us.
So then you're going to be the point guard of this group.
Yeah, I'll be the point guard.
So how good do you think this team can be?
I think we can be pretty good. I think if we got the Christmas spirit in us, we're good.
We've got plenty more. We'll talk more basketball and more, little bit of holidays when we come back to the Wisconsin Huddle. Welcome back inside Cousins Subs right here in Madison on the corner of Park and Regent. And you can't come to a Cousins Subs without trying a little bit of food. And we're going to try a Philly cheesesteak this week. I've heard that they're fantastic here. And there's also a reason that we're trying this sandwich in particular. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we're each going to take a bite out. Look, it's falling apart.
Yeah, I don't know.
Got some bacon on there, some cheese. Give this thing a try. And they say it's bad TV to talk with food in your mouth. I think that's generally true, but when you're doing this, I don't really have a choice. And then you toss it down with some fries. It is kind of hard to consume, but it's very good. I would say on my scale, it's at least a 9.5 out of 10. What did you think of it?
That was my first Chili's cheesesteak, and I loved it. It was great. I would definitely give it like a 9 out of 10 also.
You may be wondering why a Philly cheesesteak this week, and it's because Nikki and her Wisconsin women's basketball's Kohl Center counterparts are playing against Villanova this weekend. It, of course, is not so long of a lasting rivalry, but in 2017, when Wisconsin men's basketball knocked off the #1 seeded Villanova in the NCAA tournament, well, how could any of us forget about that? And this Friday, so tonight, the Badgers are going to be playing Villanova at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. That's a big-time rivalry. You guys played Marquette earlier this year, also a big-time rivalry. How much does that just add to the excitement of it, even if in this case, they weren't on the team in 2017, right? But you just know the story behind it.
It means a lot to both teams. Every single player, every single coach. Nobody wants to lose an in-state rivalry, especially. So when we went and played Marquette, we knew it was a big game. And I think in that game, we went into overtime, so we definitely didn't disappoint the fans. The audience definitely enjoyed it. But rivalries, again, they're just so intense, and it makes the game so much more fun.
Here's what Wisconsin men's basketball had to say about tonight's game.
Be physical. That Big East ball is physical, so it's a physical team. Definitely, coached by a great coach who's been around the game a lot, seen a lot of different things, and that's the type of game we need to just keep growing and keep getting better. So I'm just looking forward to really compete out there against a really sound team.
Obviously, we get to play in Milwaukee, a great venue, and these guys, we've been waiting too long. After a tough loss like that, we're waiting too long. We're ready, we're prepared, and we're just preparing for that day.
So it sounds like they are pretty confident, almost as confident as I am in this Philly cheesesteak, that they'll beat that team from Philly.
You're watching Wisconsin Huddle.
Welcome back inside Cousin Subs, right next to UW-Madison's campus. I'm Andrew Banstra, thrilled to be joined by Nikki Kerstein, a freshman on the Wisconsin women's basketball team. And we're going to close with one more fun game. We always love doing the Badger Blind Rank, but this is the holiday edition. So I'm going to tell you 5 holiday-related things that have to do with basketball. You're not going to know the order you're going to put them in, but you've got to rank them one way or another. So we're going to start with being given the gift, which would be a pretty good gift, of never missing a free throw for the rest of this season.
I don't know what's next, so I'm going to put it at a solid 3.
Okay, right in the middle.
Yeah,
okay.
right in the middle.
Perfect. How about walking to practice in negative 10-degree wind chill?
Yeah, I'm going to put that as safe 5.
Yeah.
I don't think it can get worse than that.
I feel like you're right. This next one wouldn't be so, I guess, painful like the wind chill would be, but it would kind of be emotionally painful, I would think. Let's say that every time you hit a 3, your shoes, your basketball shoes, light up like holiday.
That wouldn't be my favorite thing, but if it means I hit a 3, I hit a 3. So I think I'll put it at a 4.
Okay.
Put it at a 4.
Fair enough. Getting your own signature shoe as a gift for the holidays, like your own line, all of that.
I'm gonna put it at 2. I'm betting on this last one being the best one.
What would you name those signature shoes?
Those shoes?
The NK1s or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have to do something with my name,
Sure.
whether it's like my initials or my last name.
Yeah.
But my name definitely would have to be in there. So I don't know what I would put it as, but definitely has a hint of like Kirsten in there for
Fair
sure.
enough. Well, you've got the top spot remaining,
Oh, I'm scared.
and it is wearing holiday sweaters instead of jerseys for an entire game. Would that be where you would have put that at number 1?
Yeah, I guess it'll be a number 1. I mean, I don't think it'd be too bad in the cold, considering it's pretty cold in there.
Sure.
So if the other team's doing it too, I feel like we have the advantage.
One thing we always do before we sign off, it's called the Wisconsin Huddle. So what's your favorite way to break a huddle with you?
Usually we just say like together on 3.
Okay, count us down.
You want to do that?
Yep.
All right, together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Together.
So for Nikki, I'm Andrew Banstra signing off from Cousin Subs and the Wisconsin Huddle.